Hey everyone. So Diddy has been arrested, and it's kind of crazy reading it. Like, just reading the words freak party and freak off alone in like a federal court document is already crazy enough. But the more you read it, like, there's shit that you wouldn't even comprehend in a million years, like, or even think of as a hypothetical. And that's just how this guy lives his, like, day to day normal life. It's actually fucking crazy. Like, this guy does deserve to be in jail. He had 1,000 bottles of baby oil that got confiscated by the police. I don't know why they needed to confiscate the baby oil, but like it said, they took 1,000 bottles of baby oil from one of his houses, and then three AR-15s, which they listed second. At least in like about every headline I saw, but the actual like indictment paper, I'm pretty sure they listed like the ARs first, and like the baby oil is on page 13 out of 14 or some shit. But it said that they had physical evidence, which I don't even understand. Like, it's 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Take a picture of it. Like, why do you need to physically like put these in the back of a truck and bring them to a station and lock them up? Like, if you had a picture of it and said Diddy had 1,000 bottles of lube, I'd take your word for it. I don't need you to bring them all to me, unless they're gonna. Oh my god, unless they're gonna do that like my 600 pound life thing, where they like open up the back of a truck and it's like, this is how many cheeseburgers you eat at your rate within a year, you fat fuck. And if they do that, but it's like, this is how often you're having anal sex, you go through 2,000 bottles of lube every 5 years. It would be a trial, more entertaining than like OJ Simpson or some shit. Like, everybody would be invested, everybody would have a say, because this is like the craziest shit ever. Honestly, they should make this super like televised and shit. I hope it's not like one of the bullshit trials that we usually get. During COVID and shit, everyone got like the in New York basically they just lock you up for a day, and then you're out, and then you get to do a court Zoom trial, and then they just like have to take your word for it that you'll come back to prison or some shit. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but like after COVID, it's only like rich people that get like those kind of trials where it barely impacts their lives. But luckily, P Diddy wasn't given bond at all. Like, without even asking, this guy put up $50 million, and then the judge was like, "No, you never had a bond anyway." Like, they do not want him out back on the streets, and thank God, because all of this shit just added up. Like, I didn't really know much about Diddy. I don't really listen to Diddy's music, but like all I hear is like shit that he's a giant predator. He's like the antithesis, or no, he's like the pinnacle of a mainstream like celebrity predator. Like, basically what Harvey Weinstein was, but like on crack, like times 10. Because this guy was doing it like fucking clockwork to multiple artists and shit, and like the ones that you know weren't just like rolling over for him with no resistance, like people like Kid Cudi. He was like, fuck you, and like set their car on fire. Like, this guy is just straight up like evil. Like, he enjoys doing this like sadistic shit. It is so weird. And he's basically completely guilty. Everything he does is acting guilty. They took his passport like back in April because they were, just being safe, because he has millions and millions of dollars. He could just leave the country and never work again and start a new identity. So they took his passport. I'm pretty sure they took a lot of passports of the people who know that may be involved in this case. And then what he did is he started selling his planes and his houses, and then he moved down to New York, because I don't know where he normally stays, but I saw that he went to New York specifically because he was basically waiting for the charges to get filed, and he probably just assumed because like it's New York, he'd probably like be out literally on the same day because they let like the worst criminals back out on the street immediately as long as they can afford bail. But no, this dude's sitting in jail, thankfully, and he sold his passports and or I'm sorry, he sold his private jets because his passports were confiscated by the police, and he's putting his house up like on the realty market or whatever. So he's pretty much broke. Like he got sued for 100 million by someone else individually, and now he's like selling all this shit, anticipating he would need like bail or some shit because he knows what he's doing is completely fucked up and illegal and criminal, and like now he's about to be completely fucked. Because I mean, if he's selling his houses and planes and shit, I mean, well, might as well sell the planes. He'll have a passport. But like selling his mansions and shit, it's like he's definitely fucked. It's gonna be really, really hard to fight this, as if there wasn't already like tons and tons of concrete evidence. The only communication he's gonna get with his lawyers is like through a jail phone call, which is I don't know if they're allowed to record phone calls with lawyers, but it's probably recorded. But either way, it's gonna be really hard for him to think about a way to get out of this one and shit. And he's like always in the background been doing shit like trying to hide evidence and like silence people and pay people off. So obviously they didn't give him a bond. Um, he's like what you would think of like when you think of like a actual like Hollywood victimizer or some shit. Like if there was a movie like about some corrupt rich celebrity and like it was just basically a documentary on P Diddy and I didn't know about this, I would just assume like this character is like so over the top. This shit is like not even realistic. Like this movie sucks. Like that's how asinine this shit he does is. Like I'm pretty sure everyone's heard the aristocrats joke. You know the one where it's like a family walks into a talent agency and then like a paragraph later they're like shitting in each other's mouths and there's blood all over the floor and people are fucking each other to death. That's literally a Diddy party. Like he's literally an aristocrat. And that's not even an exaggeration. Like in 2016, there was a girlfriend of his that tried to leave one of the fucking freak offs, whatever the fuck they're called. And she was like walking down the hallway with her stuff, like waiting for the elevator. He runs out of the hotel room with a towel. Like, all he has on literally is a towel. He chases her down, um, punches her in the head, and then starts kicking her on the ground and then steals all of her shit and literally drags her and like kidnaps her, like literally grabs her by the back of the coat and then drags her down the hallway to the hotel. Like there's like really no way to excuse this and shit. He is definitely going away because that's like in the middle of a hotel, like right next to the elevators and in the middle of the hallway. So he obviously doesn't like care, beating a woman on camera and shit. He probably just assumed like it'll be a quick lawsuit and he'll just pay a little bit, which is probably exactly what happened. He destroyed a hotel and got a $50,000 fine, and he just was okay with that. Like, it's this guy's hobby to like completely exploit people and have these weird sex parties. Like, I'm not trying to justify like any other weird creeps, but it's not like this guy was like stuck doing this as some sort of business. Like, he really needed the money and exploitation and just quick money because not many people are like willing to throw their morals out the window and shit like that to like actually like sexually harm other people. But this guy spends hundreds and thousands of dollars, probably millions, like including all the lawsuits at this point. Well, he has spent 100 million literally on a single lawsuit. But like aside from lawsuits, he's probably spent like more money than like a lot of people will ever see in their lives on his like weird fetishes and sex parties. Like this is this guy's thing, and I don't think he's gonna see daylight in a very long time. Aside from like being in like the courtyard, you know, surrounded by fences in a prison with people that want to like murder him and rape him. And like if he ever does survive every single year that he gets, which is probably gonna be a lot, he's gonna be like very old, washed, and irrelevant. Probably traumatized because I don't know. Prisoners like are always, you know, looking for an unwilling participant to victimize. But if they have someone that, you know, they don't feel bad for victimizing, then their immediate priority, like you put yourself on the R word list basically. And he's probably not gonna get the you know, PDF treatment because you know, usually like somebody would probably have like a shitty enough day and then be like, oh, it's that fucker, I'm gonna murder him like violently. I feel like he's a bit too famous to kill. Like maybe unless somebody's like already serving life or some shit that like wants to kill him for the clout or whatever. Because no one really likes Diddy at this point. But I feel like they're just gonna, you know, make his life worse every single day, but probably not kill him because I mean somebody's gonna notice if Diddy goes missing. But like they're probably gonna like try to extract as much money that they can from him as possible, like any money that he has left that all the victims suing him and his lawyers don't, you know, take up because he's already selling his houses and shit. Or maybe he's not even going broke. Like he might just know he's, you know, never gonna ever leave prison again, so why own a house? Because I guess the more money he has, like the more time he can buy literally before people start like getting annoyed with him because like once like they start getting like used to getting all the money and then he goes broke, then they're gonna like Big Bubba in his cell is gonna give him a taste of his own medicine, you know, the freaky treatment. And then everyone in the prison will be like, man, I'm because imagine how many people are bored in the prison, but like, you know, there's a celebrity there, so like probably like a dozen people a day are gonna like sucker punch him for clout or some shit, or try to give him the try to give him his own kind of freak party unwillingly, etc., etc. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. P Diddy is pretty much screwed, and for every like this video gets is another month added to his sentence.